For Momentum Day A, we're sticking with our AMRAP style opener. So for the first grouping, we're going to do the crab reach and we're going to do a plank with knee tap. So again, working on some core stability, working on some overhead and thoracic extension. So for that crab reach, they're going to come onto the ground. Feet are going to be planted, hands behind the shoulders. They're going to lift the hips and then reach across with a slight rotation, not a ton, but really trying to get up and over, back down, alternating 5 and 5 each side. If they don't feel comfortable with that, maybe it's a shoulder issue, maybe the extension is a little uncomfortable, you can have them just work on the crab, or you can have them work on a rotation across just to get some thoracic mobility in there. For your plank tap, we're going to come onto an elbow plank. So for an elbow plank, we want forearms parallel. If they are clasping their hands, they're over-relying and over-utilizing their pec complex, which means we are more likely to round through the shoulders, and they're not packing those shoulders as best we can. So please have them with parallel forearms, not coming together, okay? Parallel forearms. So parallel forearms for your plank, and then from here, tapping the knees down for 10. If this is too challenging, they can go one side at a time. If they are somebody who needs to stay on the knees, you can give them an upper extremity challenge, whether that's a shoulder tap or a reach, okay? You can do the plank taps in a high plank. It's just a lot more challenging. So just understand that that would be your progression if somebody's having an easy time with the elbow plank knee taps. For our second grouping for the AMRAP, and I know this is one that some people voice some concern about with the ladder drills. So if you need to take the ladders out and just have them do the skier hops moving in a forward motion on their own, you can do that. The goal here is 2 feet, kind of similar to the direction of an Icky shuffle. So we're in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, okay? Once they get to the end, they're gonna backpedal, and then they're gonna hold a deep squat for 5 breaths before they go right back into their skier hops, in, out, in, out. You can have them split the box if that's easier for their coordination, but making sure that we're getting that squat hold before we get back into the jumping. For our third block, we have single leg rainbow slams. So they're gonna go 1 foot, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the goal is to try to keep that back foot off, which I did such a great job at, right? So back foot off, 1, 2. If they need to reset, have them reset. Trying to get a little bit of that drive through the leg. If they need a little extra support, we could put that back foot on the ball and give them sort of like a stagger stance, kickstand support for the single leg med ball slams. Or if they don't feel comfortable in single leg at all, have them do a standard rainbow slam, and they go 8 total. From there, they're going to go into up downs. I remembered it until I was on camera. From there, they're gonna go into up downs. So this is basically a burpee without the jump, where they're gonna come down, step back, come tall, down, step back, or jump back, come tall. You can have them put their hands down and step out, step in, step, step, in. If they don't feel comfortable with that or their wrists are bothering them, you can have them do a standing crossbody sort of knee, rotational knee drive. Our fourth and final AMRAP sequence is going to be the upward dog, downward dog pump and mountain climbers. So again, working on opening up that thoracic spine. So finding that full plank, driving hips all the way up, dropping them down, hips all the way up, dropping them down. And then from there, they're going to go right into their mountain climbers, which again can be slow and controlled, or they can increase in speed as they feel comfortable. If the mountain climber is not for them that day, you can have them do a plank leg side tap so that they're at least getting some challenge to the lower body during that plank. For our speed and agility block, we have a T drill. Again, I made this shorter than standard because of space, and if you need to cut it in half and have just a 90 degree, just have them go at it from each direction. So forward to the left, take it back to the right, go backwards, and then turn the opposite way. So they're going forward to the right, left, and then backwards. Okay, so basically you would need 4 cones. You're gonna start at the main middle cone. You're gonna have them sprint up, side shuffle to the left, side shuffle to the right, back to the middle, come back. Okay. Like I said, if you need to, splitting that in half because of space, participants, we just want to make sure that they're getting a left-right shuffle as well as a forward-backward run. Second exercise here is going to be a runner's start. So for that runner's start, they're going to come down here like you would if you were a sprinter, right up. They can get a little hop at the top, take it down, switching at the halfway point. For our power block, we are working on some power through the legs and some single leg stability, as well as some shift in power with our reverse lunge to forward step. So the first exercise is going to be a 2-foot jump, single foot lands, so 2 feet loading up, landing control on one leg, 2 feet loading, landing control on one leg. So just a different variation of trying to work on similar components of like a depth drop. So we're working on load and control into that leg. If they feel uncomfortable with that, you can have them just do a stagger stance jump so that we are getting a little bit more of that single leg switching at the halfway point without them having to go full single leg. For this next one, you can use a plate or a dumbbell. Doesn't have to be super heavy, it's just so they get some extra rotation through the movement. So they're gonna start in front of the box. They're gonna step back, rotate towards that front leg, power drive, rotate over. Okay, so if we go the opposite way, reverse lunge, rotating over, power drive, rotate towards that front leg. So kind of similar to that step through lunge, which we're calling pendulum lunge with rotation on strength day C, but we're adding the box for a little bit of complexity. For our strength block, we're working on an overhead squat. So this is where all of that thoracic opening and overhead reach is going to be helpful from the beginning part of Momentum Day A for this exercise in strength block. So with this, we need to make sure our members can get enough of an overhead position. So if you can't have them stand overhead with weight to where the arm is even with the ear, this might be something where you automatically want to bring them down to a rack or have them do an overhead march. So keep an eye on folks when they're doing this one. They can use dumbbells or kettlebells. Dumbbells are going to be a little bit easier just because of how that weight is split. But what they're going to do is bring those same size bells into a clean, press both overhead, find their squat stance, big inhale, keeping proud chest, squat to the bottom, exhale, come tall. Okay, you can have them go one side at a time if it is a little challenging. Finding that rack position in the other side, drop it down, come tall. Okay, other option here is double bell overhead march. I do realize this might be quite challenging for some folks, but we want to give them an opportunity to hit something that is a greater challenge because we can always safely take them to a regression. Second exercise for strength block is going to be that heavy double RDL. So heavy bells or heavy dumbbells deadlifting off of the floor, finding that 9 o'clock with the hips as we push back, keeping that back nice and flat, exhaling as you come tall. Notice my weight is only coming to just below the knee or mid shin. We're not going all the way to the ground because that would be a deadlift. And then making sure they're deadlifting or the reverse of the deadlift down back to the ground safely without rounding the spine. If somebody's having a really hard time with this, have them put hands behind their back like so, keeping their back nice and flat as they send the hips back so that we can work on the motor control portion, and then you can add weight in for them on that second or third round. Balance and body weight section. We're working on an A-frame push-up, so giving them something a little bit different, but still working on a push type movement. If you taught one of the last 4 days in Weave Festive, I forget which day exactly, this was in that workout program as well. So for this, they're gonna find their plank. Fingertips are gonna be out slightly. Okay, so find your plank, fingertips are out slightly. We're hinging the hips or driving the hips up, to the ceiling. And then you're going to track those elbows out as they touch their head to the ground, okay? You can use a yoga block as a target to shorten the range for anybody who's having a harder time with this. If somebody's really crushing this, they can put their feet up on a box and make it more challenging, so it's more of like a piked push-up, okay? If this isn't working for folks, you can give them a push-up and then hit a plank to pike. So have them do a standard push-up, whether that's full or on the knees, then go pike, then come back, push up, pike, come back, push up, and so on. Okay, so that will be your A-frame push-up. Our final exercise for balance and body weight is pistol progression. So for the pistol progression, we want to really emphasize the stretch into the ankles, but you are going to put feet all the way together. And then the goal is to sink down as deep as you can while still being able to bring yourself back up. A small weight can be helpful to counterbalance in this. So something like an 8 or a 10 or a 10-pound plate or dumbbell. They are going to bring this into the goblet position, keeping those feet all the way touching, packing their shoulders, pushing that bell out as they sink down. Exhale to come tall. Pushing that bell out as they sink down. Notice how my knees are coming forward and I'm stretching into the ankles and coming tall. Also for this progression and for your pistol, you'll notice I am a little bit more rounded at the bottom. That's just the nature of a pistol squat. So unless it is causing them pain, it's completely okay. If it's causing them pain, we need to find something different for them, but you will naturally have a little bit more rounding through the spine whenever you are working into a pistol squat.